Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you guys are new to the channel, be sure to click that subscribe button. Also turn on post notifications. I would like to give a special thanks to Homestead Genesis for giving me time with the 2023 Genesis G80 Sport Prestige. We're talking about some of the changes that Genesis made for 2023. But if you're in the market for a Genesis, be sure to check out Homestead Genesis and ask for Darwin. He will get you into a new or pre-owned vehicle. But let's talk about pricing here for the Genesis G80 Sport Prestige. Starting price is at $49,500. This one stickers for $62,185. But let's talk about some of the changes that Genesis made to the exterior. Let's talk about the exterior styling here for the 2023 Genesis G80 here. This is a Sport Prestige model. This one is fully loaded, but it does have the 2.5 liter turbocharged engine underneath the hood. You can't go for the 3.5 liter twin turbo V6. We'll talk about the powertrain specs in a moment here, but let's talk about the large crest grille. It does have this dark chrome finish to it. I love the grille's bold is in your face. This also has the driver's assistance here in the front face. As you can see, there's this square piece here. Also with this front facing camera, there's the Genesis wing on top of the hood with these sharp body lines which heads up to the actual windshield. Looking here at these headlights here, they're going to come standard on all models of the G80. They're going to be a full LED with an automatic low and high beam. They're a stacked design, which is Genesis body language now. There's also front parking sensors. The turn signals are full LED, also the daytime running light. Looking at the lower part of the fascia here, as you guys can see, the bumper is going to be revised for 2023. It does look more aggressive. I love the new bumper that Genesis offer here for the 2023 model. In this area right here, it looks to be functional to put an air curtain over the brakes and wheels. But looking at the side profile here of the Genesis G80, this has a 118.5 inch wheelbase with an overall length of 196.7. So really good proportions here in the luxury segment. Looking at these tires and wheels here, this rim design is new for 2023. I like the different spoke design here, which is a really nice finish, especially with the red exterior paint. These are a 245/45 Michelin tire. They're wrapped in this 19-inch rim design. As you guys can see behind the wheels, there's also the Genesis brake caliper there, which is painted black. I'm not sure if you guys can get a different color option. And as you guys can see here also on the side fender, there's the double stacked lights there. There's some dark chrome trim around the window wells. I like the black painted panoramic sunroof here that you get on the G80 here. As you guys can see, there's more of that gloss black trim around the mirror cap. There's some more dark chrome trim on the door handles here, as you guys can see. But making our way to the rear of the G80 here, looking at these taillights here, they're going to be a full LED, which is also double stacked. The reverse lights are going to be down here, integrated into the lower part of the rear diffuser. There's rear parking sensors. There's the G80 badge. There's the Genesis name, which is spelled out. And the trunk release is integrated into the deck lid spoiler here. To open up the cargo, it is a power opening tailgate. Once it opens up, it reveals 13.1 cubic feet of space. You also have these cargo nets off to the side here. As you guys can see, I just pulled it up. Now you guys can put some things off to the side here. And underneath the load floor here, Genesis does give you a temporary spare tire instead of a fix-a-flat kit. And you cannot fold the seats down. Unfortunately, you have to pass items through that little section right there. And the king of the segment is still going to be the BMW, which offers around 18.5 cubic feet of space. So if you guys are looking for more cargo in the segment, you have to look at the BMW. Looking at the key fob here for the Genesis G80, this also has a remote start, lock, unlock, trunk release, also a panic button, also has a smart park feature, and you can also turn on the headlights via this control here if you guys were in a dark area. But walking up to the G80 here, just rest your hand behind the door handle here and the vehicle will unlock and the mirrors will power unfold. As you guys can see, my model does have this black interior, which is a nice color combination. Also has some red stitching and red piping throughout this vehicle. But getting into the vehicle here, as you guys can see, for 2023, like I mentioned, Genesis did make some changes, which is this 3D gauge cluster here. You also get the nice alloys 19-inch rims for the exterior. But to start up the vehicle here, just put your foot on the brake and press the start stop button right there. You also have this 14.5 inch display, which is really slim. I love how it's integrated into the dash. But reaching over here to shut the door of the G80, the door sounds very solid. Let's talk about the materials here very quickly. As you guys can see, it's going to be a nice soft touch material. There's 2 person memory seats. There's your window and lock controls here. It is automatic up and down for all 4 windows. It also has a Lexicon sound system with this metal speaker cover here. This area is going to be nice and padded. I like the nice leather that Genesis used on the door panel. Over here's your illumination switch, your automatic start stop, traction control, electronic parking brake, trunk release. More than nice stitching is continued onto the dashboard. And my model does not have the heads-up display. You might have to go for the V6 if you guys want the heads-up display. This also has a 3D gauge cluster, which on camera doesn't do it no good, but I like that Genesis gives us this nice tech. And this right here watches your face because it does have adaptive cruise control and whatnot. It will keep a distance from you and the vehicle in front of you. Over here is for your volume control. You can also adjust the volume here via the scroll wheel. This is the Genesis wing on the airbag cover. More nice stitching here, very high quality leather. Over here is for your driver's assistance tech. I like the 3-spoke wheel design, very thick rim. There's paddle shifters. The headlight turn signal stock is over there. More of that leather is continued onto the dash. There's your air vents here. There's this stainless like gloss, high gloss trim here, which is really nice. The hazard button is there. Over here is going to be this digital display down here for the 3-level heated and cool seats. There's 2-level heated steering wheel function. Don't need that today because it's super hot. There's 2 USB ports there. My iPhone 14 Pro Max kind of fits. There's also a wireless phone charger. There's these scroll knobs here for the volume and tune, shortcut buttons for the back, home, and menu. And as you guys see here, going to the Apple CarPlay, it's not wireless. Of course, you guys know Genesis is working on that for their upcoming systems. You can also use this control knob here if you guys don't want to physically touch the screen, but I do have longer arms so I can reach the screen, or you can adjust the seat. Pressing this button here on the side here, you can also access the massage function. You can do a full body. Right now, it feels really good. There's an auto hold. Putting the vehicle into reverse, it does reveal a top-down 360 view. There's also a trajectory with distance markers, and you can scan around the vehicle. You can also change the color of the vehicle as well. I like the rims on this graphic here. My wheels remind me of the G90 that I recently just tested. I actually like those wheels on that vehicle. Really nice tech for a really good price. Switch over to neutral very gently, and to go into drive, just switch it again. And you guys know to put into park, just press on the P button. There's some gloss black trim around the cup holders here, around on top of the lid. Also, there's this silver trim here, which breaks up some of that gloss black trim. There's your drive mode selector here, which shows you sport, eco, custom, and comfort. So it's 4 different drive modes. You can access the camera via this button here. That's parking sensors, more high quality leather and stitching on the center armrest, which is a double hinge opening center armrest. There's a 12-volt here. Also, you have this removable tray. It is lined with felt in the interior. The seats in here, they're very supportive and comfortable. That's why I actually like Genesis seats. They're very supportive. More of that nice red stitching and piping is continued throughout this interior. Like I mentioned, diamond quilted stitching on the seats. And above me, there's this tinted large panoramic sunroof here, which lets light and air into the cabin. There's also the sunglass holder here, and that's full LED lights throughout this cabin, which I would be expecting. Looking at the glove compartment, it is a large storage in the glove compartment. It is also lined with felt. There's some shortcut buttons here for your radio presets and whatnot. But overall, the interior of the G80 does not disappoint. I like the new digital display here that you guys got from the G70, which Genesis, offers that, which is a really nice tech feature. And like I mentioned, they also do offer the 19-inch alloy wheels. Opening up the rear door of the G80 here, as you guys can see, this is why you guys go for this vehicle, but you can go for the G90, which will have more leg room space and also overall length. But as you guys can see, the door here opens at a really good angle. I think the G80 does offer really good space if you guys don't want that big old G90 in your driveway. As you guys see here, this does have manual sunshades here to block out the sun if you guys don't need all the extra sunlight. The switchgear feels really good. This area is going to be nice and padded with leather. Metal speaker cover here for the Lexicon sound system. Down here is going to be additional storage. There's also the Genesis name and the door seal. I like the nice red stitching and red piping with the diamond quilted stitching here, like I mentioned, from the front seats. But getting into the back seat here of the G80, as you guys can see, I'm sitting behind myself. This is my driving position here. Genesis says this has 38.7 inches of rear legroom space. Over here is this coat hanger here. You guys can hang things up if you guys don't want to have a wrinkled shirt and whatnot. Up here is going to be LED lights throughout the cabin. There's this grab handle here, and above me there is this large panoramic sunroof here to let light and air into the cabin. Once you open up, you also have your own set of rear climate controls back here, also rear air vents. There is a 3-level heated seat, so you can open and close the power retractable shade. Behind me, there's also 2 cup holders here. It does have this gloss black finish trim. And you can also recline the seat back here if there's someone sitting in the seat. But if someone's sitting there, you can also slide the seat forward and back to give the passenger here some legroom space. There's also map pockets back here for storage. And you can access the trunk via this handle there. You can throw some things in there if you would like. Like I mentioned, the seats are very supportive and comfortable. I love the nice diamond quilted stitching. But overall, the back seat of the G80 is very comfortable. But if you guys need more legroom space, I would recommend going for the G90. Let's talk about the powertrain specs here for the Genesis G80. Open up the hood of the vehicle. This is the base powertrain, which is a 2.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. This powertrain makes 300 horsepower and 311 pound-feet of torque. It's paired with an 8-speed automatic transmission. If you guys want more horsepower and more torque, you have to go for the 3.5 liter twin turbo V6, which will make more horsepower compared to the base powertrain. And as the G80 sits here, it weighs in around 3,700 pounds. So this vehicle is very heavy. If you guys add in all-wheel drive, it will weigh around 4,000 pounds. So once again, the G80 is a very heavy vehicle in this segment. And all G80s will remain rear-wheel drive. You guys can go for all-wheel drive if you want that all-wheel drive system. But making our way over here to the fuel door here, let's talk about fuel economy for the G80. Open up the fuel door here. This is rated to get 22 in the city, 32 on the highway, and 26 combined. This also has a 17.2 gallon gas tank, and premium gas is a recommended fuel. You can go for the G80 electrified if you guys don't want to have the combustion engine underneath the hood, which that vehicle looks similar to the G80, but it does have some different design cues because it is all electric. All right, guys, so starting off in the 2023 Genesis here, this vehicle has a very smooth ride quality. I like the new tech that Genesis offers for 2023, which is this 3D gauge cluster here. I like the nice effect on camera, guys. Like I showed you, it does not do it any justice, but I like the nice tech that Genesis offers. You could get the 3D gauge cluster in the GV70, also the G70. So now they're just basically trickling it down to the other vehicles in their lineup. The ride quality, like I mentioned, is very smooth. I like the new 19-inch alloy finish wheels. And why is Siri playing? Okay. Also, turn down the fan speed. This does have 3-level heated and cooled seats. I like this digital display down here that you can customize for the climate control if you guys want to have more air flowing throughout the cabin. The materials, I wouldn't expect nothing less. As Genesis, very high quality materials. Above me, there's this large panoramic sunroof here, and right now the engine was shut off and it starts up very quietly. I don't feel no harsh vibrations through the steering wheel or through the foot pedals. It also has aluminum pedals for 2023, which is another nice addition that Genesis offer. If I were to signal left or right, as you guys can see right here, there's the blind view camera, and you can defeat the automatic start stop via this button over here. If you guys don't want to constantly have the vehicle shutting off the engine, you can pick a 3.5 liter twin turbo V6 if you guys want more horsepower. The engine that I'm driving today is the 2.5 liter turbocharged engine, which makes 300 horsepower and 311 pound-feet of torque. It's a good engine, but it's a 4-cylinder. So in this application here, it doesn't drone too much for me to notice it. But you can also switch the drive modes here by pressing this button right here. And now it's in its sport mode. And I like that the needle turns a high red. And there's paddle shifters for the 8-speed automatic. Once we let this car pass in front of me. But I want to, get on the highway, for an example. It does shift really good. The 8-speed automatic doesn't hold the revs. And if I were to downshift here, this is second gear. And kind of upshift for me, but the vehicle just moves very quickly for this vehicle to wear almost 4,000 pounds. It's a very quick vehicle here. And this one is missing the heads-up display. I think you have to go for the V6 in order to get the heads-up display. I wish they would have offered it here on the base powertrain. I like the nice 14.5-inch display. It does support Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. I do have the newest updated version of the iPhone, so I like the way that the screen looks. It looks very crisp, very clear, and it's very responsive, but it does not take up the full display. Unfortunately, it's just the embedded navigation over here, as you guys can see, which is from Genesis. Right now, I have the vehicle in its comfort mode here, and it does do a really good job of, keeping the revs down. It doesn't, hold the revs like it would in sport mode. And the vehicle just drives very smooth. I just tested the G90, which is a bigger vehicle. It has an overall length around 206.7 inches. So it is about a little bit more bigger compared to this vehicle. But if you guys want to have more space in the back seat, more overall length, I would recommend going for the G90, but it is going to be more expensive compared to the G80 here. But this vehicle does ride really good. And also, you guys can get an electrified model, believe it or not, which is basically what Genesis did. they plugged out the gas engine and they just lined the floor with the battery packs, but you kind of do compromise a little bit more of the leg room and reduce the headroom in the vehicle because it doesn't offer the panoramic sunroof. So you do lose headroom and a little bit of leg room. But if you guys, you know, want to make up some of those fuel savings instead of going to the pump, I think the electrified model is a really good pick if you guys don't like, you know, gas combustion engines anymore and you're trying to move to a more cleaner future. I think the G80 electrified would be a good option. Let's talk about visibility. The visibility out of this vehicle is really good. You also have this low dash. You can also see around this vehicle really well. Good side mirrors. This also has adaptive cruise control, lane keeping assist, all the nice driver assistance tech that you guys want from Genesis. They do offer it here in the G80. After spending time with the 2023 Genesis G80 Sport Prestige, I like the small changes that Genesis made for 2023, which includes that 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster, also with these sport alloy wheels here. With that being said, hope you guys have enjoyed my review here on the 2023 G80 Sport Prestige. Be sure to follow me on Instagram at Drive1Reviews. Hit that subscribe button. Also turn on post notifications, and I will see you all in the next video.